What's going on, guys? Clifton Denny again with On Your Own Outdoors. Hey, so today we got a new piece of equipment that just hit the market like a month or so ago, I'm pretty sure. So today we're getting back on a climber. I know it's been a minute since we did a climber, but the climber we're going to do today is the Summit Viper Level. It's the Pro SD that's got the twist knob so you can level this stand out. So when I was at the ATA, there was a bunch of talk about these, so I went ahead and ordered one whenever I got home. I'm not typically a Summit hunter because they're a little bit heavier of a stand. This one actually, it says it comes in at 26 pounds with a weight limit of 300 pounds. So we'll see how it goes. So just so y'all are aware, I didn't put the feet pegs in or on this. So if you're looking for a way to install the foot stirrups or whatever that they call them, scroll back to some of my other Summit videos here on the page, and it'll have that on there, the instructions, so that you can see it. I just didn't want to take the time today to actually do that. So day before yesterday, I had a guy ask me about this stand, and I've been sitting on it for like a week and a half, so I was just trying to get it out. So just like the other Summit stands, this one works just the same. So in case you don't know what this self-leveling is, so let me show you with my hand real quick before we start. We always talk about, if you've watched any of my other videos, is making sure whenever you get on a tree, you have the right angle, right? So that you want it like this. This is a tree, you want your climber like this when you put it on the tree. That way, the higher you go up, the stand levels out. So one of the biggest things that I hear guys complain about with climbers is that it takes them a long time to get that down. You've got to climb some trees. You've got to practice with it. It is what it is. So Summit come out with this Viper level, and basically you don't have to figure that out. As you're going up, if you realize that you're starting to go down, you can just reach down there, twist some knobs, bring it right back up. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the top of it over here so we can talk about a couple different things before we actually get on the tree and even start. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about, these clips. So what this is how you put the seat on. And it literally, you loosen around, it goes around, then you put it inside of its the buckle. But listen, these have like this coating over the top of them. It keeps them pretty silent. So good job, Summit. I like it. All right, so skipping on past that, this is how you will adjust your cable going in and out. So what they did here is they have this pull pin. Everybody knows, if you watched any of my videos, I'm not a fan of the pull pins. So I'm not telling you to take them out. I'm just telling you that some of the other models don't come with them, so maybe they're not necessary. But if you're trying to be as safe as possible, by all means, leave it in there. So basically, the reason it's in there, so pull pins. So in order to adjust this to fit your tree, let me get this on my shoulder there so y'all can see it. So in order to adjust this to get this on the tree, what you're gonna do is you're gonna push this button, right? You push that button, and this slides in and out. So you push that button, and your cable here slides in and out. And that's how you adjust it. You can see there, it's got a notch. You make sure that's out of the notch. They're not the biggest fan of coming in and out, but there you go. All right, so in order to adjust this, you see this button, you're gonna push this button. If you look on here, so to get this on a tree, you're gonna walk up the tree, you're gonna wrap your cable around it. You're gonna start your cable in, making sure that you're holding this button down. What it basically does is it allows this notch to go in. So hold that button down, start it in your hole. As you can see, it goes down like that. So say that's the base of your tree. That's how big it's gonna be. All you gotta do, press your button, get that set down inside, pop it forward. Once you pop it forward, this slides back up, leaving you enough room for your safety lock, which is your push pin. Goes through, latches back over the top. So now you're secure. This thing, when you put that pull pin back in, it will not allow this to move. So it will not allow this to come out. You're completely secure. So while everybody's here, right? So let's skip to the good stuff. This is your other side. So as you can tell, on your other side, you don't have any of that to adjust. because it's all on this side. So you get up in the tree, you don't like where you're at, you want to tighten this up, you literally rotate this little guy here, and that tightens your cable up. So if you're tightening your cable up, what is it going to do? It's going to bring it up. If you loosen your cable, it's going to bring it down. So we're going to play with that over here on the tree in a minute. So the top has this and the bottom has this. We're going to go ahead and put it on the tree real quick and see how it works. So if you can see behind me, I chose a good curvy tree. I think the last thing I put on this tree was a saddle for that reason. But we got a good curvy tree. It starts off with a bigger base, and then it gets pretty small as you go up. For all you safety harness guys, before you beat me up, just know I'm not going to go over about 5 foot off the ground, if that much, with my platform. So you're good to go. Just know too, these summits, when you first get these cables, they're kind of a pain. Before you put them in, take them and just kind of bend them over so they get that angle before you start putting them in. That was the reason I was having a little trouble right there. I haven't messed with it. It's a brand new stand, so they're not formed to where they just want to go in there easy. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and put this thing on a tree. So guys, just like before, easiest way to do this, pick a spot. I like to kind of start on my front side of my body. If I can't reach it like this, you can move around holding the other side here, kind of rest it on your thigh, bring it around to this side, and now you're in. So the first thing we're gonna talk about with you new guys is, hey, look guys, remember, always put your top on first. We hit that in every video. It's just a little friendly reminder because you can put your top on first, go ahead and raise it, get it out of the way so that you can work on your bottom. So this is the bottom. Exact same mechanism as the top. It's got your safety pin. You pull this little lever, it rides back so you can slide it in and out and adjust it. All your adjustments are on your right hand side of your stand, and then your rolly thing is on the left hand side of your stand. All right, so again, set it on the tree, grab the back side, come around with it. I'm going to intentionally leave this thing lower than where it needs to be. All right, so we got that in there. Go ahead and put our safety pin back in. Gotta keep it from moving. All right, safety pin's in there. And as you can tell now, the top is a little bit different than the bottom. And we did that intentionally so we can work on this thing to see how this works out. So, yeah, I think we're ready to climb. When it comes to this seat, just whatever, hook it however you like to. I know there's a certain way to do it. Everybody's got shooter preference. Usually whenever I use a Summit, when I have used a Summit in the past, the strap that holds the seat, I just wrap it back around and hook it on itself. It is what it is. Figure out what you like best. That's not a make or break ordeal with any of these stands. All right. So like I said, we're gonna keep these low so y'all can see what's actually happening. First of all, when you go to get in a stand, what I like to do is I like to keep this up top so I can kind of slide through. Another thing while I'm kind of getting set here, guys, I don't know if you can see this rail here, but basically Summit with this Viper SD, they make different holders. So you can buy a bow holder, you can buy a phone holder, you can buy J-hooks, you can buy all kinds of stuff that go in here. So you have accessories on your stand once you actually get in there, and they're super easy to use. Just to let you know, just like this stand, it's not at Max Prairie Wings yet. It's gonna be in the next, I think next month or so. So yeah, you can buy the accessories for all the Summits there, and you're gonna be able to pick up one of these stands there real soon. So I just got my hands on one a little early. So, all right, let's go ahead and start here. So I'm gonna set that there and say that I needed to adjust my top up. I go ahead and sit down in this. Obviously, guys, make sure you're wearing your safety harness. But so if you can kind of see what I did there, I've still got 1 foot on here for support. I've got my hand on the front of this. I'm kind of taking some weight off of it. As you can tell, just rotating this thing, what would be away from the stand, it go ahead and moves the bottom of your platform up. That's actually pretty nifty. So I'm gonna tighten this, guys, so that we can actually get an angle on it that you all will be able to see. I lied to you. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna loosen this so that we can get an extreme enough angle that you all can see. So as you can see now, the front of this stand's dipping down. So if I was gonna sit, this obviously is not how I would want it to be. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this top up so y'all can actually see how it would be set. So that's about the distance I would be. So the top of this is obviously angled down. That's not gonna work for me. So you literally rotate this away from your body. So rotate it away from the stand. Now I'm gonna tell you guys, before you start doing this, so as I'm rotating this up so that you can see a difference in the angle, when you get ready to go hunt, if you have this all the way against, right? So you've got it loosened as much as it'll go. Understand that you're not going to be able to tighten that stand up, or you'll be able to loosen that stand up. You'll be able to tighten it, but you won't be able to loosen it. So if your angle is wrong the other direction, and you've got too much of an angle, you're stuck there unless you unbolt your stand. We're gonna keep running this thing and see how much, just how much love it's gonna give us for adjustments. This thing obviously is not gonna be a make or break. It helps, as you can tell, with the angle that it's already done. But I'm curious over about how many inches it gives you. So but it has some forearm power if you've got a real bad angle on it. So that's about right. So that would be about flat. But again, I just want to see how far it'll let it run. All right, so that's about it. I'm gonna say you've got about 6 inches, maybe 7 inches there. So you've got about 7 inches of play, which it seems like to me on the outside of this made about a 2 or 3 inch difference on the front. So I can just tell you guys what I would personally do. I'm not telling you what to do. The angle on the ground's still gonna be important, but this gives you that extra little movability. So one big thing about it is if I was everybody else, I would run this thing about halfway. So as soon as you buy it, go ahead and run it all the way out. And then back this thing back off where you only have about 3 inches sticking out. And the reason I say that is if you're new to hunting, or you know that tree's gonna change a lot and you can't judge what it's actually gonna do, if you'll run this about halfway out, that'll give you play both directions. When you buy them, they're ran all the way snug, so they're all the way in, meaning that you're only gonna get one adjustment because it obviously can't let any more out to bring the front of that stand down. It's only gonna be able to bring more of it up, which typically whenever I see guys climb and they have a problem, it is that they did not plan on the tree diameter getting smaller so their front's dipping. But basically this is about how I would keep it. And again, the reason for that is it's halfway out. If I get up there and I need to make an adjustment one way or the other, a minor adjustment, it's there, you have the opportunity. But I don't want you guys to think that this is a end all be all, because it's most certainly not. You're gonna have to play with it still. You're gonna have to get a pretty solid guesstimate, because this is gonna change you 2 to 3 inches. It's not going to change you if you get up to the top of that tree and your stand looks like this. You're still going to be in trouble. But if you get to the top of that tree and your stand's like this, it's going to allow you that play to go ahead and bring that down. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the stand just as a whole, and for you guys that's never seen the Viper SD. So one thing about the Summits that we always talk about is how comfortable they are. When it comes to a tree stand for comfort, a Summit is very, very, very hard to beat, especially if you're rifle hunting and or crossbow hunting out of it. So here you go. This is how you'd sit. A lot of guys, even myself, I would bring this top up just a little bit, but whenever you're sitting those long day sits, it is nice to kind of just be snuggled up in here. If you're, these stands are great if you're a little bit worried about heights because they've got the sides on them. So it really helps for that. But the big deal about these is so if you're a rifle hunter, why are these things important? Well, there you go. You've got your gun rest. If you're a bow hunter, you would take this seat, tighten it up a little bit so that you're actually sitting like this. If you have it down low like that, you'd still be able to pull up and shoot over the top of it. So if you're a bow hunter, just remember, you want to keep your top closer to your bottom. It might not be as comfortable. However, it's going to give you that availability to stand up, draw, and shoot over these sides. One thing that you always see guys mess with, I did it with my old man stand on my first public land buck. When my cam rotated, it hit the side of my stand, knocked my top to my bottom. So that's not safe. Anyway, so make sure that you're paying attention to that. If you're in one of these stands, you get ready to pull back, go like this. So another thing that you can tell is I just stood over on the very edge of the stand. Man, these Summits grip a tree great. They do awesome. Summit's been around forever. They, I don't want to say they own the market in stands, but I mean, when you're talking about comfort, everybody's going to say Summit. It just is what it is. They are what they are. They're going to be a little bit heavier. These new SD ones, they're pretty silent. You don't get a whole bunch of clanging and tanging. So yeah, pretty awesome. Let me climb down here. So while we're down here on the bottom, you can actually see here too. We'll loosen that guy all the way up. And you can see that I only had about 2 inches difference there, and it made about an inch difference on the bottom. All right, guys, so it's the end of the review. Let's talk about it. Some pluses and minuses. We always start with the minuses so we can end with the smile on our face. So the first thing we're going to talk about with the minuses is the weight. It's a Summit, so they're typically heavier. Really, that's all the negative, other than the pull pin. And I'm almost tired of saying pull pins because I beat up every stand about pull pins. If you still wanted something secure, I say this in a lot of my videos, look at getting yourself a wing nut and a bolt and running that through there. It's typically more quiet than using those pull pins. Pull pins, just when you pop them loose or whatever, they're loud. The good thing about these is when you're actually up in the stand, they hang below. So bumping those and making noise is going to be difficult. Like, you're going to have to try to make some noise with that one. It's not just going to make noise from you brushing your arm up against it or something like that, like some of the other stands. So that's a pretty big deal there. I just don't like pull pins. But other than the weight and the pull pins, I don't really have anything else. So just talking about the tree stand in itself, super comfortable. It's not very loud. As far as the stand itself, it doesn't make a whole bunch of clanging and tanging noises. Like, it's pretty solid. Seat, it's a Summit. It's insanely comfortable. If you get one of these stands though, go buy you a can of Camo Dust. Make sure you hit that seat to try to knock out some of the smell that's in it, because you know that while it's hanging in your shop or riding the back of your truck, that big thick pad is going to gain some scent. Now, what everybody else is worried about, these guys right here. So this is a close-up of them. Rotate them away from the stand to raise the front up. Rotate it towards the stand. You can actually see it coming down there. But rotate it towards the stand, and it brings the front of this down. So again, this is going to make probably, I would say up to, 2.5, 3 inches each direction. It's not going to make a 3-inch drop this way or up, but it'll make enough of a difference, to make you comfortable while you're up in the tree. So the pluses. Do I like this? Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've got up in a stand and you know, been up in a tree or whatever, and that stand is just off to where it makes it uncomfortable, and I'm leaning forward, or I'm like this. So whenever I go to stand up, where I think it's a bigger deal is on my platform here or there, I can adjust my seat out. I can adjust my platform. Well, having this, be able to reach down, kind of take some weight off of it, and be able to adjust the platform. So if you've got that slight dip, you don't feel like you're going to fall over every time you stand. Or if you're like this, you're up here trying to pull back and lean over because you don't have a flat surface. So these things are awesome. It's a huge plus. It just is what it is. I love them. I think every stand should have them. Every stand that's got this kind of cable system, for sure. I mean, being able to adjust when you're in a stand and it doesn't add much weight, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's a no-brainer. So, guys, really, that's all I've got. This is the Summit Viper level. If you're looking for something that is more comfortable than anything else on the market, go check these guys out. I think you'll be happy with it. That's all we got for you guys this week. Good hunting, and we'll see you later in the week.